Blessings. Welcome back to Be the Line Organics. And today I just want to discuss our document. Today is May the 22nd, 2025, and I just wanted to document my plans and goals, as I said, and where we are at. Procrastinating a lot on the posting on YouTube, but main goal number one is just to provide Trinidad and Tobago with the best food possible at the most affordable price. That's just it. My reason for this goal is because we are in a crisis, a health crisis, simply because of the food we intake. And that is mostly because, especially in our fresh foods, our greens and so forth, mostly because of the chemicals in conventional farming. And my goal is a very big one, but I will get there by God's grace, is to do organic farming in such a big way that it will either force other farmers to do organic farming, because it is better, it's easier actually, or put them out of business, to revolutionize our farming structure. That is my goal. Obviously, the goal looks, to have a goal like that at this point is actually kind of crazy, but I am determined to do that. There's a lot of things need to go in place before that, and I'm just talking me as a person. I need to improve in a lot of ways before that could happen. But right now we are in rainy season. We are dealing with weeds. We're on a hill, so the journey is going to be muddy. It's be harder to walk without falling. And this is just where we are at. We are at we have probably around 16 different crops here, from seasonings to greens to different stuff, even papaya or papaya, whatever you call it. We call it pawpaw here in Trinidad. We have about 16 different stuff, so it's definitely far from monocropping. And this is what I intend to expand in the future. If you will look around across there, that is a dream come true. That is a dream come true. That right there is land, which is the most important thing when farming. Land. And that's my mother's uncle land, which he wanted to give to me or us as a family a very long time ago. But come on, in the back here, bush for planting. When I was doing construction at the time, I have a background in construction, so it's far from what I have planned as an individual. But eventually I come around to this farming, and now I'm very passionate about it. I intend to revolutionize the entire Trinidad, if it could go global if possible. But Trinidad is a big enough goal. I want to outline some of our improvements here. We have the irrigation improvement. We used to water this entire little spot wet hose. It's a wet hose, and very soon that became very inconvenient. Eventually, we decided to put a 2-inch line to the top of the beds, a 2-inch line straight from the cistern, and I will put that in the video so you get a better understanding of how things are run. And we run a 2-inch line to the top of the beds with 4 outlets, 3/4-inch outlets, which will give us more pressure, easier to move the hose, whatever. We don't have to wet one long hose, but actually 4 people can wet at the same time with no pressure decrease. That became inconvenient as well. We tried rain hose. I put that in the video as well. The problem with that was, anytime we had rain hose, well, actually we have a problem right here, right now, actually, because the time we had rain hose, we had sorrel on the beds, which was it was growing like a shrub or a bush, and the rain hose, that tree or plant would block the water from going to the beds. So we had 4 rain hoses connected to these 4 outlets because the pressure was so much it could span basically 4 beds on either side. We have 15 beds here. Well, 16. We just added 1 and still needs to be planted out and sorted out and prepared and so forth. But we had 4 rain hoses, and the trees became a problem because these trees, even the papaya trees, are still short, so it would block, flow into the different beds. So it was not very thorough. You would still have to wet manually, and it would waste a lot of water. It was easy to get holes in it if you wasn't careful. A slight drag or slip, you're slipping and mashing of that hose could puncture it, and it would be not too useful after that. So that was a problem. Eventually I got rain hose, and we have them installed right here, as you can see. Never mind my snack on the floor. But these are 10 inches. 10-inch rain hose. And I thought that was the cure-all and the end of all my problems, because what became a problem is, even in the dry season, the rain hose would just waste too much water. So I started back wetting manually all these plants, which would take 6 hours, basically my entire day. So I got this entire 15 beds planted up, but I couldn't expand. Actually, I regressed a lot actually quickly after I got help, because I got help to clean up and plant the entire 15, which was my younger brother. Got help to do that, and wetting alone would take up my entire morning. As I said, 6 hours. So if I could come out here 6 o'clock, a little after 12 is when I would finish get wetting, and then I would have the evening to plant and see about other stuff, maybe clean, weed, whatever. And I regress very quickly. As you can see, there's a lot of empty beds right now, which I will come to. It's our very next topic I would come to, the help. But eventually I got these rain hose. They are not the cure-all. I realized that they are not a cure-all, because where it is dripping, it will drip right there and go down. It will not wet the entire bed. And I think all that water would eventually soak the entire bed. It would not. So if you plan on planting anywhere else other than directly by the holes of the drip line, that plant will either die or struggle a lot. So I eventually realized the drip line is working better because it's faster. But I need to do some manual wetting in the early stages of planting the plant. And that is the best so far. That is the best I've come across in terms of irrigation so far. I want the irrigation to be totally automatic. But now it's rainy season and the irrigation is definitely automatic. But I think that is where we are at right now for the irrigation. Now in terms of help, my goal was always to plant these 15 beds. I don't even think it was 15 beds at the time. I think it was probably 14. And most of these beds are extended. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 beds to the extreme end are 100 feet long. And the others, I think the last one is the shortest, which is 80 feet. So we could say an average of 90 feet are the beds. And my goal was to plant all these beds by myself. For some reason, I just thought it was possible. I would work, and still think it was possible. Anyway, I got some help. My brother saw the vision, and he came in to help, whatever. And he helped a lot. This place was revolutionized. My critics, I had a lot of critics. They were silenced during that time. I haven't really got back to the critical stage. Everyone, applaud the garden right now at its. No matter how messy this garden gets, they still applaud it because in the midst of all the weeds, stuff is growing. So I got help, and now, well, eventually, that help went away because I thought I was good. I mean, I got help to basically tame the entire garden in terms of weeds, and we planted the entire thing. So I thought, all right, good. I'll be able to maintain this from here on. Someone offered him a job. I was like, yeah, you know what, it's cool. Go ahead. But I realized that very quickly that I cannot do without him. Cannot. So I hired him back, and he's working for 2 days, probably 3 days, some weeks. And yeah, that is my hired help. Right now I'm alone. Today is Thursday. Today is reaping day for farmers market. Tomorrow we have a couple of stuff. We have celery, pak choy, kale, hot peppers, pimentos, papayas, tomatoes. I don't think there's any cauliflower already, but that's the stuff we have right now. We have mustard too. I don't think he will sell mustard this week. And other stuff, we have sived as well, but not enough to sell. We have very, very normal size. But anyway, so we'll be harvesting today. I have help in that department. My mentor is actually the seller in the farmers market, so he comes with his sons. We pick the produce, load it in the car or van, and go up the road, and they will sell to more. The next topic is finance, and this is kind of crazy in hindsight that I kept going when I had no reason to go on. This raw faith and passion and stubbornness is what have me here today. But there was a time where I was getting no money from this garden for months. Failure was just a normal thing. like failure, like planting a crate of pak choy with 128 plants and getting 10. I mean, there's failure on the whole, and planting kale and insects just snipping them. They would snip out all those kale, and no matter what I plant here, it just wouldn't. I don't know what kept me here, but for months and months and months and months and months, there was no money coming from here. What would happen, though, is that my mentor would actually give me $200 TT, which is what, like $30 US. For anyone that is global watching this, $30 US a week, which was crazy for a young man of 24 years old doing that. I think I was 23 at that time when I just started. 20 when I just started. And that was crazy stuff. And eventually, I started doing celery. And they said, you know what? No matter who plants celery on the farm, I would get the celery money. So obviously, I become invested in celery because celery money is mine, right? Anyway, it started from there. Getting $100, then $200, then $300, then went from there and trying to do other stuff and fighting, and all this time, I would probably get soil. Most likely, I'm sure that we taught about 500 bags, and that is like feed bags. Probably 500 bags of topsoil and manure. There's a lot of bags, Just trying to fertilize here. Here's actually the worst place on the farm to plant. I don't know why we chose here, but I thank God that we did, because I learned a lot. That any place could revolutionize. Anyway, this was just straight clay. The worst place on this farm to plant. And we started. I would get some help eventually. Mentor would come, do this, trying different things. Eventually, we reached this place. Actually, I'm not. There were a couple times. Here's what I think happened. Because there seems to be a glitch in the memory. Like how I went from so little to this stage. But I think what happened is there would be times that I would go back and work construction. And the only success I had from the start was tomatoes. That is the only success. I realized I was successful with tomatoes. But sometimes I would go back to construction and work. Obviously, if you're working construction for a couple of weeks, which is extremely tiring job, and I'm going to come here after work, which is like a distance anyways. When they come back to this farm after probably 4 weeks, there is nothing here. So you need to start over. You need to have a seal. Which was limited construction work at the time, so there was no other choice actually. So the motivation and the inspiration would be at an all-time high, because guess what? This is the time. This time I will make it. So I would start working one bit at a time, going. Obviously with little to no success, right? And then because I was so discouraged, I'll go back out and do another construction job, and that is what happened. Every single time I would come back from a construction job, I would get a little bit better. And last year, I was still actually doing actually last year, I had some motivation. And hopefully we'll get to that motivation later on later down in the videos. But I got that motivation, and I know I needed to get serious with this stuff. I do it or don't do it at all. And eventually, I started putting my heart and hard effort into it. I started putting my all into everything, all. And eventually, that weekly finance climbed to $800. That was the highest it ever climbed to. And I thought, good, I will. Anyway, they came up on a missionary trip. I felt led to go to help, I was kind of experienced with traveling and doing missionary work. Just mildly experienced. Anyway, I did that. I left this farm or this garden. I went on a missionary trip for 3 weeks, probably more. And everything was grown up, bush and grass and weeds everywhere. But in the midst of that, in the midst of all that grass and weeds, there was stuff surviving. Came back and I said, 2025, I will make it. That's what I said. And that's when my brother came in, revolutionized this garden. It is what it is today. In the farmers market, that was my main source of income, farmers market. So that's where all my income would come from. All the produce I sold there eventually came back up to probably, I would say 800, 900 was the average. Sometimes we would go lower, sometimes we would be higher, right? Sometimes we would even be more than 1,000. It depends. And we just keep going. But eventually I come to another plateau, whatever you would call it, a place where I was not improving in finance wise, because all my stuff wouldn't sell in the farmers market. Very discouraging as well. So that went on for a few weeks, probably months. This year actually, probably for 2 months. A few weeks to 2 months. Where not all this stuff would sell. And that is very disheartening. Knowing that they put in all this effort into having this garden cultivated. And all this stuff selling, or it wouldn't sell for the price because of the size or whatever. And I know I needed to do something. And then I got some advice. I know how to do wholesale. Got some advice. So the advice was, do wholesale, whatever. Yes, that is the point. That is where I'm going. That's where I intend to go. Why am I not doing wholesale? Well, because I don't have a vehicle. And the wholesale market is very far. And I need to leave where I'm at 11 o'clock to reach there for 12. I'll probably come back down 2 in the morning. Very, very sketchy stuff. So I need to borrow somebody else's vehicle to go up a few kilometers at 11 o'clock in the night and come back 2 o'clock in the morning. Sketchy stuff for a vehicle owner, right? So it was an excuse, because I could have done what needed to be done, but I didn't want to go that way, which is an excuse, right? And then the advice came again. Why don't you supply local supermarkets? Excellent idea. I got you with one supermarket. I checked a few restaurants and supermarkets and all that good stuff. I got you with one supermarket. Different suppliers too. And that is what I do on a weekly basis. And all I'm doing, or I'm trying to do, is supply them pak choy and cauliflower. 120 bundles of cauliflower, pak choy, and 160 cauliflower, 160 pounds of cauliflower. So for a bundle, it actually is 3 pak choy. 3 pak choy in one. Come up to a bundle. And our cauliflower is more lucrative, of course, more expensive. So here is where I'm at. Actually now the average is $1,000 a week, and It's a lot I have a lot of goals. I need to get a vehicle this year. I need to build my house this year down here. So a lot of high goals and expectations this year. We are just in me. Uh, so I'm looking forward for the rest of the year. I am expecting a lot of things. I'm expecting a lot of other posts about the garden. I should be doing this every week. I'm not, but hopefully next week I will do another video or sometime. Because as you can see, I'm stationary. I'm holding my phone and using the back camera. But I will get things in order so I can post every week. I'm passionate about my people learning organic farming. Very passionate. If my people, if only the Trinidadians could get this, then that would be a good enough goal. That would be good enough for me. If they could see that chemical food is junk, they are killing themselves. Just imagine that someone would eat their junk food. So you know what? I need to eat healthy. I need to change my diet. And they're going to get greens and stuff, and the greens are chemicalized, if that's even a word. Pested with chemicals. It's best that you would have stick to just your junk food, because chemicals is not going to make your life. It's not a change of diet. It's nothing good. It's not going to make your life better. So my tactic is to make my product sell itself. Good food will always sell itself. Good anything will sell itself. So that's the goal, that's the ambition. As you can see, that right there, 5 acres. I want to build an organic plant. If I could just do that. From greens to poultry to livestock. If I could grow everything organically on that piece of land, probably expand in the future. Yeah, I know this is not for me. I felt a lot of God to do this, and thank you for watching Little Land Organics. Do have a good and pleasant day. God bless you. Blessings.